Hi, I'm Chelsea Hewsome, your host of the Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm an entrepreneur, author, speaker, and mom of two. And I'm so tired of women not feeling like they can show up as fully expressed versions of themselves. So here, we're all about that unapologetically, because honestly, we don't have time not to. Literally, because we're busy as F moms and entrepreneurs, but also figuratively, because we don't know how much time we have on this planet, and we want to make an impact now. But if we're doing this, we're making it real vibes only. So let's get inspired, laugh our asses off, quite possibly cry, and feel like you're sitting on the couch with your bestie and a glass of wine. I'm so happy you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lip Service and Lashes podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Hewsome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, today I have to share about my recent 6 days that I went to Nebraska by myself. We are, if you don't know, my family and I are building a quote barndominium near Lake McConaughey in Nebraska. And if you don't know what a barndominium is, it is just Google it because you'll go down a rabbit hole for hours. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because they're really cool. What it is it is like a shell of a barn, and then it's finished completely on the inside like a house. So actually you can build a quote home a lot faster, potentially cheaper, depending on your personal choices on the inside. Yeah, that's what a barndominium is. And they're like, some of them are really freaking fancy. So Google it if you don't know. And I'm sorry how many hours you will spend looking at them and wanting them. So I went out for 6 days by myself to oversee the barn company that was installing our house barn. And so it was, it's kind of the middle of nowhere. We bought 3 acres out there, and we have one little like a normal barn. And so for the whole week, I just set up my little office on a camping chair and this kind of rickety little warped camping table. Not really sure what has happened to my camping table in the last year, but so I just like sat there for 6 days working on my laptop, trying, the hotspot was okay. It wasn't horrible. So, I had my little office and just oversaw this company, these laborers that were putting at the barn. And really, my husband and I had decided that one of us needed to be there the whole time because the barn company we used, I would highly not recommend them. I mean, the finished product, fantastic, but like, man, to get there, it was real rough and a big pain in the ass. And it took for freaking ever. And yeah, I don't know how they're in business, to be honest. Not going to say the name, but yeah, I would not recommend them. So we were terrified that like the wrong color is going to show up, or they're going to just try to just jack up the whole project. So we were like, we need to physically be there and watch and make sure this is not getting wrecked. Really, because they give us zero confidence before that. So I'm sitting in there working, it's long days, these guys, there was a crew of 4 guys. It's slow going. Like they're at the first few days, it's just, they're kind of putting all the steel pieces together, kind of building the more or less skeleton of it. And then really the last like day and a half, I was like, oh, holy crap, this is crazy, because the last day, or let's say a day and a half. Okay. So at day 4.5, there really wasn't like the little skeleton was up, but there was no roof. There were no walls. There were no windows put in or cut out, even no doors cut out or put in, any of that stuff. Right. So there was still a lot to do. And I'm like, oh my God, how many more days am I going to be here? Whatever. And these guys, I don't know if they had a job at the beginning of this project, but then they must have got another job that they now had to they needed to finish this and move on. So whether they just work really fast at the end or had another job, something lit a big fire under their ass. Cause I was like, holy shit. The last main day literally was the roof went up, the walls went up, the windows were cut out, like all this stuff. I think all the windows were put in. Everything was really constructed and put together on this 5th day. And then very small amount, like kind of some trim put up and stuff on this 6th day where they left about midday. So overall, the guys were super nice. Like I bought them lunch a few days. They didn't really talk to me much, which is fine. And we were friendly and but I really just was sitting alone in a barn for many, many hours a day by myself because they, like I said, they just really didn't talk to me too much, which is fine. But then, so our land is about a half hour from the nearest town, like real town. So, each night I would leave and then I would drive the half hour to the town. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get dinner. So first I found this super cute brewery. And I started going there frequently because first of all, I'm alone like all day long and I'm working. Like I forced myself to do things that I've been putting off forever, things I've been slacking on. And I was like busting out my to-do list. Like, oh my God, you've been dragging your feet on this whatever thing for like 2 months. Freaking do it. Cause you have no other choice. You have nothing else to do here. So do it. So I was quite productive, I will say. But then at night I was just bored. And so I found this really cute brewery in town. The first night I met the owners. I became friends with the bartender lady, had really good beer. They had like dill pickle beer and like all kinds of yummy, just crazy stuff. So, go there. They have I had one of my books. So I get to talking with the bartender and she's like, oh my gosh, you have one? Oh my gosh, yes, I'd love it. So, and then she's like, but the book club just walked in over there and that's the owner and you need to go introduce yourself. And if you have another book, give it to them. So I do that, and, it was fun. I'm talking to all the people, like the bartenders, the servers, the people at the bar. I met all these really nice people. And then I go to a restaurant across the street, sit at the bar again, and I meet this sweet little retired farmer named Bob. And he is so cute. If you know me and my mother too, we're like suckers for sweet little old men. We're like, oh, they're so cute. They're so sweet. They're so cute. And so Bob and I chatted work, business, life. Like he is so sweet. And apparently he goes there to that place every Wednesday for dinner. He always gets the same thing. And then he's like, well, when I was getting ready to leave, he's like, all right, well, come back. You know where I'll be. This is my spot at the bar. And I'm like, okay, Bob, I will. So we were pretty much besties. I mean, we bonded. And he was so dang sweet. There was also apparently there's this yearly kind of like festival or event in this town called Rendezvous. And so they had like car shows, they had bands, they had food trucks, they had like special shopping days around the little stores in downtown, which there are not a lot of them. But so it was kind of cool. I mean, again, it was kind of lonely just wandering around that by myself. Like I would have preferred to have my husband, kids there, but it was still cool. I mean, something a little more to do or just to wander around. And then, there was this little bookshop. So I walk in there and this little old man owns it. And I bought some books because I'm all about, I went to another shop and bought some like Nebraska Cornhusker clothes and stuff. Cause like apparently we need to be Nebraska fans now that we're building a home there. Cause it's like a whole thing, guys. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to support local, these little shops. I bought some books. I bought some clothes, some other stuff. And, the little bookstore guy, I said, oh, I'm an author, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I see you have a little local author spot over here. Would it be okay? How do you get a book in here? So he's like, well, just next time you come, bring some down. And we'll just make a little agreement. And he was so sweet. So my book will be down in Nebraska soon. But I just kind of like wandered around town. And then I will say, so I was there 5 nights, 6 days. It was lonely, talked to a lot of strangers at the bar, made some new friends. But out of 4 nights, 4 of the 5 nights actually. No. Okay. So I went to the brewery, I think 3 times. And here's why. I now know the owners. I said, Lisa. Well, first Lisa said, the owner said, hey, Chelsea, how many times are you going to have a beer flight till it takes you to like know what your favorite beer is? And I said, Lisa, I'm indecisive and I like 5 of your beers. Well, one was a root beer that they brew. It was delicious. And the other beers, I'm like, I can't ever decide. And I like all these. So I just get a little flight. And so she was laughing at me. And I said, Lisa, I promise I'm not an alcoholic. I know I've been in here a lot. And now you and your husband know me. The staff knows me. It's a little crazy. I said, I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm just really bored and I'm alone here all week. So, and I said, I love your brewery. It's so freaking cute. The vibe's cute. The people are friendly. You have great beer, whatever. So I was like, I just want to come here. She's like, you come over here as much as you need to, girl. This second kind of sad thing, which I'm not really sad about it because it was delicious, but by my hotel. So after I've been, at a restaurant, I'm eating dinner, whatever. I would go back to my Best Western because I'm fancy like that. Well, that's probably the fanciest one in town, actually. But there was a Dairy Queen right next to it. Now, it always seemed like it was closed because there were no outside lights on. But I drove around numerous nights. I think 3 or 4 nights. I think 3. Went through the drive-thru. It's like lit up. I'm like, oh my God, it's open. So 3 of the nights out of the 5, I definitely got some Dairy Queen on the way home as well. So a lot of brewery, beer, and Dairy Queen. And it is what it is. When I am bored, I apparently wander around and eat. And then I would get a Dairy Queen and go back to my hotel room. And I never really watch TV at home, like literally hardly at all. But when I'm alone for 5 nights in a hotel room, I totally binge watched Scandal on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen Scandal. It's the whole series is on there. And I used to watch it back when it was on TV. It has Kerry Washington. I don't know any of the other people's names, but you would know them. I freaking love it. It's about like Carrie. I can't really get into it, but like it's about the president and she's in politics and stuff like that. Just all this scandal because the title would make sense. It's just such a juicy, like crazy show, and I love it. So I just binge watched that, and then I went to bed at like 9 or 9:30 still. So very, very exciting time out there. But on the Saturday night, I was at the brewery by myself yet again. And this group of women walk in. Now, I was born in 83. Okay, so I'm 42. I never watched Three's Company, like ever in my life. It was before my time. I don't think my parents watched it. Whatever. I know nothing about it. But apparently there is this character called Helen, named Helen, and there's like a thing to do like bar crawls, like dressed as her. So this group of probably 20 women walk in. They all have these little short red curly wigs on, huge glasses, like just blingy and like over the top. And then kind of like muumuus. They were calling them something else. But they all walk in. I was like, oh my God, who are these people? This looks freaking fun, And so one of the servers goes over and they're like, this is Chelsea. She doesn't know anyone here and she's here alone and she's really bored. And they're like, Chelsea, come here. And so they literally like adopted me for the whole night. And I didn't have any other outfit, but they just totally were like, we're on a bar crawl. You need to come with us the rest of the way. And I was like, oh my God. And it was so freaking fun. These women were like the sweetest people. They all have lived in this town for at least 20, 30 years, like a long time. Some of them were born there. And they were so sweet and totally like changed my night. I had so much fun. They were so welcoming. And it was I'm rarely spontaneous because I'm a psycho and I plan the shit out of everything. And this was like such a random, spontaneous, like turn of events that now I was on a bar crawl with all these women dressed as Helen. So after there, we went to a couple other places. We went to this little like hole in the wall bar, and that I never would have actually gone to by myself or probably with my husband, but that was cool. We pop around and then we end up at the VFW to play bingo, which was like, hello, this is such a small town thing. So cool. I was like, yes. I won. They did like a bar game at the brewery where you buy a cup, like a plastic, little solo cup. You put them all on the table, and then they put one of those little robot vacuums on the table, and then it knocks all the cups off. And if your cup is last, you win. So somehow I won, and I got like this beer stein and a free beer at the brewery, a little chip for next time. And then at bingo later at the end of the night, I won 2 raffle prizes because it was all for veterans. So I bought some raffle tickets and I won 2 things. So I literally was like waddling out to my car with all of my winnings. I won this cute little football, like a entertaining set, and some like beach drink set. And yeah, it was super fun. And so at the end, I was like, ladies, I got to go get some Pizza Hut and go back to my Best Western and go to bed. Because I was like, I'm fancy like that. And they laughed. And so I said, here's the deal though. You know what I look like. I go, when I am back in town and I'm out and about, I said, please, 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 if you see me, you need to come up and talk to me and say, hi, it's me, Helen. And then because I said, you all literally look the exact same, and I don't know what any of you actually look like in real life. So I was like, please, if you see me out, come say hi to me and be like, I was one of the Helens, and here's my real name, and this is what I actually look like. Because I was like, I'll never know any of you, and you'll think I'm a bitch because I'm just like ignoring you, but I don't even know what any of you look like, which is very true when you go on a bar crawl when they're all dressed the same. So it was just super fun. It was like a highlight of my trip. And then I think on a Monday, I headed back. The barn was up. It looks beautiful. It's this big white barn with black roof and like a big lean-to patio around it. And really, it turned out so good. And with all our worry and stress this company caused us, it's a beautiful barn, like a beautiful shell of a structure that now we can finish. So it's cool. And now it's just we're going like crazy. The framing's already done. HVAC's there this week. I got electrical there next week. It's okay, we've been, wasting so much time really waiting for this barn company. So now it's let's get this shit done and move on so we can actually enjoy this house. So I'm super excited for that. And it was really cool it was kind of stressful at the very end, but really cool for me to just be there and be like, okay, so we went from a slab to an actual large structure in 6 days. That's pretty cool. So, but yeah, all my random Nebraska adventures, I always I love sitting down and talking to people and learning about their life and, just the spontaneity of it. And I like small town vibes now. More than, the hustle and bustle and people are assholes or they're driving crazy or whatever. It's just a different vibe. And to sit and talk to people, it filled up my soul. And I was like, yes, I love this. And I can't wait to be able to go out to this house and get that more in my life and slow down and simplify everything. It's just really cool to me. So yeah, so hopefully I'm sure I'll have many, many more Nebraska adventures. It's only just beginning now, which I will share if they're good. But thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And always remember, no BS, just real vibes. I'll see you next time. If you loved the episode, share it on Instagram and tag me so I can say thank you and meet you. Or share it with a girlfriend who you know would love this too. Always remember, no BS, just real vibes. See you next time on Lip Service and Lashes.